For a limited time, you can get 6 months of unlimited local news access for only $2 at duluthnewstribune.news/deal. We're honoring World Press Freedom Day, and along with this deal, we're giving you free access to our news website for 24 hours on May 3rd, so you can experience the critical role local news plays in keeping you informed. If you'd like to stay connected to your community with unlimited access every day, subscribe now to get 6 months of local news for only $2. Visit duluthnewstribune.news/deal now before this deal ends on May 5th. That's duluthnewstribune.news/deal. Hello, Northlanders. It's Monday, April 24th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. 2 tenants died Saturday as a result of a fire in an 8-plex apartment building at 631 East 3rd Street. The names of the victims have not yet been released, pending notification of family members. The Duluth Fire Department was called to the scene at about 6 a.m. Saturday, and firefighters arrived within about 3 minutes of dispatch, encountering smoke and quickly advancing flames, said Deputy Chief of Operations Mike Concy. Concy did not have details about exactly how many people were in the building at the time of the call, but said a number of tenants were rescued by firefighters, and others were able to make their way out of the building on their own. A woman was rescued from a second-story window using a ladder truck and was taken to a local hospital for treatment, where she was pronounced dead late Saturday afternoon. During a subsequent rescue attempt in the same unit, firefighters were forced to evacuate when the interior was engulfed in flame, according to a news release issued by the fire department Saturday evening. The subject of that second rescue attempt was found dead at the scene. Deputy Chief of Life Safety John Otis said it's the third fatal fire at that address in recent years.
Anytime there's a fatality involved, it's a tragic situation. This building, unfortunately, for whatever reason, this is the third fire incident resulting in fatalities. The first one was August of 2020, and the most recent was April of 2021. Both of those fires were investigated and determined to be accidental. This fire, like I said, is still under investigation.
2 firefighters sustained burns while working to save people from the building. Concy said they were taken to urgent care, where they were treated and released. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and a state fire marshal is working the case as it involves fatalities. Therese Wysocki has announced her intention to run for one of 2 at-large city council positions that will be up for grabs in November. The retired telecommunications professional is the 5th candidate to enter the race, meaning that a primary is now anticipated in order to narrow the field to 4 before the general election. Wysocki, who was born and raised in Duluth, has not run for office previously, but said she was prompted to run after getting her property tax bill in December. But she said taxes are far from her only concern. She also voiced a desire to improve Duluth's downtown. She hopes to focus on job creation too, but primarily in sectors that will offer workers better wages. Other candidates who have already announced plans to enter the at-large city council race include Ashley Castaldo, Lynn Marie Nephew, and Jenny Yeakel. 2 at-large incumbents, Eric Forsman and Noah Hobbs, previously declared their intentions to step down at the end of the year. Now here's Dan Williamson with a special guest.
Thanks, Wyatt. I'm sitting here with one of our colleagues, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter Jay Gabler. And Jay, you're working on a story that we'll be able to read in Wednesday's print edition of the Duluth News Tribune. We can also see it online prior at duluthnewstribune.com. People have been waiting all year for it. Homegrown returns. What more can you tell us?
That's right. Preview feature about the Homegrown Music Festival, which starts this Sunday and runs through the following Sunday. You will not be surprised to be reading about Homegrown in the News Tribune. It's one of the biggest arts events of the year here in Duluth. But this article is a little bit different. It's not one of those articles that tells you who to see, where, when, how. All that information is on Homegrown's website. And I hope you dig in and, look at all the different artists who are playing over 150. So you have a lot of options. But I thought for this article, I would dig into some conversation that started last year around questions of organization and compensation at the festival.
Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek as far as a takeaway from that?
Well, I learned Homegrown is just an incredibly unique festival organizers say they have looked at other festivals and, seen how they're organized, how artists get paid, what, admission costs are. But it's really hard to compare anything else to a festival like this, which is based in a, small-ish metro area, the Twin Ports, and is 8 solid days of exclusively local bands, or in a few cases, bands who have local ties, maybe are from here or made their careers here in the past. And so trying to showcase that many local artists across that many venues, there's so many venues that this festival sprawls across. There has really not been a lot of other things like it attempted anywhere else in the United States. So organizers have been for the last quarter century kind of making it up as they went.
And we're so lucky to have this in our area. Jay, what do you hope our audience takes away from your article?
I ask some questions that people in the community have been asking, and I'm not trying to be disingenuous about it and saying, well, let me just pose a question here with the idea that I have an answer in mind. I really don't, because it's hard to know what the right answer is in terms of how you organize a festival like this. How much should tickets cost? How much should artists get paid? How big should the festival be? Is 150 artists or more too many? Is 8 days too many or too few? But I talked to several different artists, some organizers, past and present. I talked to Scott Lunt, also known as Starfire, the founder of Homegrown, and got some great perspectives from them on all the considerations that go into organizing a festival like this, running a festival like this, thinking about its evolution, deciding as an artist when you play at a festival like this. And I hope that readers take away a more nuanced understanding. Homegrown is definitely something I think for our community to celebrate and enjoy, but there are some, hard questions regarding, what is our music scene evolving into and what's the role of Homegrown in that evolving music scene? So I hope that reading the feature will give readers a little bit more of the information they might need to think about those questions.
Well, Jay, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Dan.
And again, you can find Jay's article in Wednesday's print edition of the Duluth News Tribune. You can also find it online prior at duluthnewstribune.com. Wyatt, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Happy Monday, Duluth area. Partly cloudy skies today. There is a slight chance for a few spotty and isolated snow showers throughout the day. Easterly winds about 10 to 15. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, temperatures falling to the upper 20s. And we get to your Tuesday, barely making it up to 40 again with partly cloudy skies. Slightly warmer, though, under a partly sunny sky on Wednesday with high temperatures flirting with 50. We'll be tracking a chance for some rain showers, though, Thursday and Friday. That'll knock temperatures back down to the 40s to end the week. I'm storm tracker meteorologist Jesse Ritka.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. In the latest episode, reporter Jimmy Lovern introduces us to a pinball duo fixing machines and building a community. You can find that episode and others at duluthnewstribune.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy, Dan Williamson, and Jay Gabler. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.